Hello, my name is Maurice Harris, and the Bible study lesson that I'll be teaching tonight for this Liberty class would be John 3 and 16 through 18. And I'll be teaching from the NIV version. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so John chapter 3, 16 through 19, and we'll just go verse by verse and break it down from there. It's one of my favorite passages, probably one of the most notable passages that people read and people can relate to. I believe it's very important to understand these two scriptures. But let's go ahead. So it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." As I mentioned before, very well-known passage, and pretty much we'll just go verse by verse and break it down, and I'll give you what I believe God intended us to get from this passage. So, first part of 16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." I think that's very easy to understand. It's basically saying that God loved us so much that he sent Jesus here for us, and that if we believe in him, that we will not perish but have everlasting life. It doesn't mean that we won't struggle. It doesn't mean that we won't go through some things, but we won't perish, and we'll be able to have a life that lasts forever. And that includes the next life, not just this life. So he sent his Son, who was begotten, for us because he loved us, so that we would believe in him and that we would not perish. So if we believe in him, it says that we will not perish. It means that we will not lack, we will not die if we believe in him. So let's move on to verse 17. And verse 17 says, "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but the world through him might be saved." So there's a lot of talk throughout. For me, what I heard about Jesus' intentions of coming to the world. He didn't come to tear things up. He didn't come to make you feel like crap. He didn't come to just make you feel less than what you are. He came so that we may be saved. Through him that we may be saved, that we may have access to God. He came not to mock us. He didn't come to judge us in a way, but he came to give us another chance. And I think in verse 17, that's what I see, is that God came basically to give us another chance. He knew that we were going to be broken. He knew that we were going to backslide. He knew that we were going to fail, but that through him that we could be saved. Through him that we would have a chance to see the Father. And then 18 says, "He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." So verse 18 to me is kind of pretty similar to 17. And so those of us who believe, there's no condemnation that can overtake. There's no condemnation that could remove us from a relationship with him if we believe in him. But those who don't believe in him could face condemnation, are condemned already, as the scripture says. And it says, because he is not believed. So it tells you If you are not a believer, then you are condemned. But it then thoroughly explains to you why you would be condemned, and it's basically based off because you do not believe in the only begotten Son. So I believe it's important to note that you have to believe that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. There's no other like him. There's nobody that can contend with him. There's nobody that can look like him, act like him, talk like him, do miracles, signs, and wonder like him. But he's the only one. And I think the key word there is the only. Believe and only begotten Son. So that is my Bible study lesson for this course. I hope you grasp them from it. I think these passages are pretty logical when it comes to breaking them down. And I just know that I'm glad that he loved us so much that he sent his Son. And his Son was the one who would perish for us and that would give us access to everlasting life. So I hope you learned something from this Bible study today. Have a blessed day.